Hey Libra, your energy is very much reminding me of peanut butter. Just right off the bat, like trying to connect with you and work out what your uh, story is. It just feels very kind of slow and stagnant, trying to get through it. Um, for your overall general reading, I am still using the Thoth deck, the Aleister Crowley deck, but I am incorporating a card from the rune card deck, and I also tossed some coins to build up an I Ching hexagram, kind of inspired by the recent astrology podcast episode. I mean, the I Ching has always been a source of fascination for me, but I don't know a whole lot about it, so that episode is kind of encouraging me to delve a little bit deeper, and it's been interesting so far. I did get the hexagram built up for you guys just to kind of get a sense of um, the overall energy for you, and actually got hexagram number 30, which looks like that. It's composed of the two trigrams, Li, which is fire, and it's doubled. Um, and what this hexagram is called is the clinging or the flame, and it's this idea of the fire and how it, like if you look at it, you kind of see it clinging on to its fuel, its source of energy, and it's dependent upon it. But through that sort of transmutation, I guess, is, if that's the right word, it kind of alchemizes this base matter, this dark substance, and turns it into light. It turns it into brightness, turns it into warmth and energy. Like turning inert matter into something dynamic and creative and bright, which is also doubly confirmed by the rune card that we got for you, which is Berkana or Bjork. This is the rune which is associated with the birch tree. And what I found interesting about this little interplay here is that if you pay attention to like forests, like especially in the mountains, I almost said in the mountainous regions, when a forest burns down, let's say like a pine forest, an evergreen conifer forest, a fire burns through it and clears out the space, and the first trees to really start colonizing the open space are the birch trees. They grow quickly. They turn the ash into something alive and vibrant, and they're the pioneer species that initiate the next cycle of the forest. And so I'm like trying to sit with your reading, and I'm looking at your cards. Your significator card, we have the Eight of Cups, which is the first decan of Pisces. In this deck, it's called Indolence, which is basically like a state of idleness or a state of complacency. And in the position of you as a significator, it's almost like I'm seeing you as the inert matter, as like this coal that the fire is clinging to. And this fire is like burning away something, maybe like a process of sacrifice, or a process of giving up certain aspects of yourself or certain things in your life. I don't know necessarily if it's like you physically giving up items. I mean, you have the Four of Cups covering you, which is the last decan of Cancer, but in this deck it's called Luxury. This idea of having provisions and having your having nourishment on some level available to you, but I almost get the sense that it's being, like, I'm hearing dawdling, like it's being wasted, or it's not being utilized, or it's not being fully appreciated. Like you seem distracted, you seem I don't know, peanut buttery, if that's the right word. Like this process of transformation, of kind of burning away, it's kind of reducing you down to your core element, your core elemental material. Um, like I'm like I'm seeing this image obviously of the coal kind of burning away with the fire, but in each flame that's kind of, you know, bursting upward from this material. um, I'm seeing like voices and hearing people, and it's almost like I'm getting the sense of like you're walking away from, or cutting certain people out of your life, certain figures, maybe certain beliefs or patterns, and withdrawing from this sort of interaction that's taking place. Um, Crossing you, we have the Hermit card, which is Virgo. And with that, I want to take a moment to acknowledge where your domicile ruler, Venus, is currently. At the time of me recording this, she's in that last decan of Virgo, I think like a degree from ingressing into her own sign of Libra, your sign. Um, and it's kind of happening concurrently with Mercury stationing direct. And that retrograde cycle of Mercury really coincided with Venus ingressing into Virgo, and now is ending with Venus exiting Virgo. So I think there's like some kind of chapter that's being bookended, or is being sanctioned off by this transit. And I feel like it might be relevant to the process that you're undergoing, this sort of burning away. You know, Venus in Virgo is the 12th sign from Libra in zodiacal order, so it's that 12th house. So it's that house of isolation and loss, and an unraveling of the self in some way, a burning away of aspects of the self, or of resources, or of people, and really retreating into a state of isolation, whether that's self-imposed or imposed upon you. I'm not entirely sure yet. But at the base of the reading, we have the Hanged Man, which is Pisces. And it's this sense of entering into different states of consciousness in order to understand reality from a slightly different perspective. You know, whether that's with certain substances, or with meditation or breathing practices, or otherwise. Like this card came up in the Virgo reading that I just did, and it was very much kind of the energy that I was seeing with this exchange happening with Mercury and Venus. This conversation that they were having, it's almost like the cerebral mercurial aspect is trading spots, or is trying to interface with the Venusian like sensory experience, the Venusian ability of connecting things and bringing a sense of appreciation or enjoyment. Like maybe there's also, like, I'm looking at these other cards again, like the Eight of Cups again and the Four of Cups. Like with this exchange happening between Mercury and Venus, there's almost a sense of like being presented with things, with nice things on some level, or nice people, good food, and then having like some kind of detachment from it, kind of disinterested. And maybe it's this attachment that you could have had in the past. I mean, you have the Ten of Coins behind you in this past position. Sorry, the focus is kind of driving me nuts. There we go. Like having access to all these things, all these potential sources of pleasure and connection and nourishment, but being like the water is still. Like going back to this eight of cups, it's like the rain is falling from the skies, like the blessings are coming in, but you're not actively participating in like collecting the blessings, in harvesting the rainwater. Like I'm seeing like this image of the rainwater harvesting cistern, and it's raining, and somebody's like opened the spigot, so all the water that's supposed to be collecting in the cistern is just kind of running out, and Libra's just kind of watching, not really troubled by the fact that the water is all being wasted and none of it's being collected. It's almost like a rinsing, like cleaning out, like removing the sediment, stripping it down to its base skeleton, like the bare cistern. And maybe that connects back to the I Ching hexagram that we've got here, this sort of burning away of holding fast until we get to the source material, the original material, the essence that's left after the burning away, after the cleaning away. And then with the space that's cleared away, I mean, obviously we have the growth card, the Berkana, this birch reforestation that takes place after the initial forest burns down. Crowning the reading, we have the 10th trump card, which is the Wheel of Fortune. There, oh, it's kind of doing it. There we go. We'll work out how that works. And this is the card of Jupiter. Jupiter is currently transiting through Gemini, which for you is your 11th house, I believe. Or 9th house. 9th house, there we go. I had the opposite angle. But this influx of blessing, like the celestial rain is falling. That's this Jupiter card right here. And in reverse, it's almost interesting. Like I'm seeing like an umbrella. Like the rain is falling, the blessings are falling, they're showering down on you, and you have an umbrella, and you're just kind of like dead faced, like don't care. The rain is just not reaching you because you're kind of like shielding yourself from it somehow. And that could be like that detachment, that inner detachment that's dividing you from truly interacting and appreciating what's coming in. And maybe that has to do with Venus transiting through Virgo, and once Venus enters Libra, which will be sometime tomorrow, in the next like 10 to 15 hours or so from when I'm recording this video, there's maybe a shift that comes along with that, an ability to reconnect with the Libran principle, the Venusian principle, and feeling like you're able to embody that energy naturally again. Because I feel like up until this point, through this transit of Venus in Virgo, it's felt very difficult for you to connect with your natural state. Like I'm seeing like it's segments, like if we had like a tray, like an ice cube tray, and the top, like let's say these segments over here at the top are filled with water, and you tilt it upwards and you're just watching the water run down and it's collecting into these segments, but as it does so, the amount of water is being kind of like dispersed, and the water level isn't very high in each segment, so it's almost like it's just the sense of the flow being broken up, and it's taking longer than it should. Like you have to wait for one segment to fill up before the next one can, rather than what the energy feels like it should be doing, which is just kind of flowing unimpeded and without having to undulate or fill up the pieces. Before you, we have the Three of Swords. That's the middle decan of your sign, Libra. And I feel like this is like the stable, fixed column within the sign of Libra. I mean, it is ruled by Saturn. This decan is. So it could be like a point like when Venus traverses through her own sign again, gets back into Libra, and the flow starts coming back in. There's this reconnection with feeling secure, not necessarily secure, feeling able to maybe fully appreciate the experience that's unfolding. I mean, the Three of Swords isn't the most optimistic card. It's kind of like considered the card of like heartbreak and strife in some way. I mean, even in this deck, it's called Sorrow. But I mean, looking at it, it's like at least you're feeling something. Like, yeah, now that I've been poked, I'm bleeding and it hurts, but at least I feel it, because I feel like that umbrella has been keeping you from feeling the emotional aspect of your experience. It's just been very detached and kind of fragmented. And maybe part of this seeking altered states of consciousness with this Hanged Man at the root is like really trying to embrace all aspects of your reality. You know, putting that the umbrella down so that you can feel the rain on your skin. I immediately heard that song. For the energies around you, we have the Four of Wands, which is completion in this deck. That's the last decan of Aries, which is I believe it's, Venusian, Venus ruled face. Like trying to see it in like the context of this Three of Swords for some reason. I feel like they're somehow bridged. You know, the Four of Wands is kind of like not necessarily a culmination, but it's a stepping stone. It's an affirmation of some kind of energetic stability. And I feel like that stability is being called into question. It's like the complacence, the idleness, the laziness, the indolence that you've been kind of marinating in or stagnating in. Like circumstances are kind of lighting a fire under your butt, and I feel like it's connected to this Knight of Wands right here, which is representing somebody around you or the people around you. Like it's like this person has like a torch and they're like lighting the house on fire. They're lighting the couch on fire. It's like I'm hearing them say, "Get up! Like let's go. Let's do something. Let's do this." Yeah, and maybe like this Three of Swords right here next to him, bridging the Four of Cups there. It's like this kind of, I don't want to say argument, but that's kind of close to the word I'm getting across. Like, it's, you don't want to get up. Like, you don't want to do this. Like, it's too much work is kind of the sense. But it's necessary. Like, something needs to be burned away. Some layers need to be peeled back and forgotten is what I'm hearing. Like, strip down and put a new outfit on. Maybe like shed the weight or like drop the load. Clear. And seeing somebody sweeping the kitchen, like cleaning it up, purifying, which again is just this imagery that was affirmed at the beginning of the reading with hexagram number 30, with this double fire, this burning away, this clinging, this reduction to prima materia, and then the subsequent growth that flourishes as a result of that. That determination, that focused drive to stick with this process of reduction. And the image I'm seeing right now as I'm saying that is like a pan with water in it, and you're just watching the water be cooked away until it's like this tiny little plop of water that kind of bubbles up and then just is reduced to steam, and then the pan is clear and clean and there's nothing in it. For your hopes and fears, we have the Priestess. This is the Moon's card. In the hopes and fears position, maybe feeling afraid to trust your intuition and what it's telling you about your circumstances, whether to stay I'm like, I don't want to say it, but whether to stay stagnant or, kind of begin this process of burning away, of letting this incoming energy that seems to be coming to you from another person in your life. It's kind of helping to initiate and kick you into gear, get you up off the couch, or get you get you outside in some way, get you moving again, get the water moving, and like closing the spigot on the rainwater cistern that we were talking about. Like, you need to go outside and you need to close that so that when it rains, you can collect the rainwater because you're going to need it. Stop wasting it and stop being careless. Like, take an active role, be an active participant in your life, and that's what this person is like trying, like that's what they're teaching you or reminding you to do. And the High Priestess is kind of like, you feel in your gut that something needs to give. Like, there's a necessity to this process of burning away, of letting go, of cutting out and reducing, minimizing, because it's going to make space for the final outcome, the Universe card. It's reversed. This is Saturn's card. And all that's really telling me is that it's almost like connecting back to this Wheel of Fortune card here, like this celestial rain falling down. Like, it's finally able to settle in and collect into this cistern. The blessing, the energy of blessings is starting to collect and build up again and gather itself into a form that's usable as a fuel to keep this inner fire burning, to keep a fuel source available for that energy to transmute. Fire depends upon a fuel source, whether it's like a coal or some sort of gas or a block of wood. These resources, this combustible material, it's like it's being provided to you so that this flame can keep burning and keep transmuting. But yeah, still that peanut butter vibe, like walking through peanut butter. Like you just feel heavy and kind of sluggish. I feel like there's going to be some sort of breakthrough or change. The weather's going to shift. You'll wake up feeling better or different, not so bogged down, not so peanut buttery. Maybe once Venus goes back into Libra, or the sun goes into Libra, goes into your sign, some sort of reconnection with your innate spirit, your innate energy externally will help facilitate the internal shift. Like this initiatory energy is coming from outside of yourself, whether that's through another person or circumstance. I feel like it's another person, like Aries or Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or just somebody who is very passionate and creative and fiery and takes initiative and is dynamic and outspoken and isn't afraid to poke you to get you moving. So working past whatever barriers or wall that you have set up between you and this energy that's coming in, between, closing the umbrella, so to speak. This cycle is ended, or is ending, present tense. And like I said, Venus is crossing into Libra sometime tomorrow, so this shift could happen relatively quick, or it could be like a slower process. But take advantage of the outstretched hand is what I'm hearing. Like, take advantage of the opportunity to shift. Take advantage of the good day if you wake up feeling better. If you wake up feeling good, like, utilize that energy while it's available to you to create a shift in your environment that will be more conducive for maintaining a more dynamic state of being. Like, you've done the soul searching, and towards the end of the process, it just kind of became an idle energy, like not doing much. But the opportunity to do the work now, the outer work, is coming in. And I'm looking at the High Priestess card, and I'm thinking, like, listen to affirmations, like tools to manifest, like really sort of steeping yourself in an environment that's helping you to shift into that mindset. Shift out of this mindset and into dynamic interaction and growth. You know, being like the birch trees, taking over the forest that was burnt away, bringing life back to a space that was dead, was cleared. You know, turning the ashes into fertile ground and working the earth, so to speak. Yeah. With that, I think the cards are about done. So, wishing you the best. Hopefully you can work your way out of whatever this peanut buttery energy is. And I'm hearing get a move on. Like, and hopefully you don't find that too antagonistic, and instead find it as more motivating than anything. You can feel good about things again. And you will. Take care, Libra.